Hi Aries, welcome to a special reading for the summer solstice. If you're in the southern hemisphere, you can still derive value from this reading because I found this particular spread online, and it's a site called tarotassociation.net. So I want to give props to them. And the name of the tarot spread is A Summer Solstice Spread to Connect with Your Higher Self, or Connect to Your Higher Self. So obviously we can do this at any time. And it's just that the summer solstice is kind of the apex of the year when everything is at its fullest. And of course, if you're in the southern hemisphere, this is like ground zero and you're building up from that point. But both points can benefit from any kind of a reading which looks at connecting with your higher self, obviously. So what I'm going to be doing is a combination of tarot cards and oracle cards. And the cards that I'm going to be working with in this particular spread are my Morgan Greer tarot deck. And this is the back, this is the front. So you probably have seen me with that deck many times if you've watched me before. My name is Raina, by the way. And this is the, what's the name of this one? Gosh, I always forget the name of this deck. Oh, Keepers of the Light, but it's I think it's my favorite oracle deck. This is the back. This is an example of one of the cards. So it has kind of like Ascended Masters or teachers on that deck. I'm going to be using one of those cards in one of the positions for the spread. This is a new deck. I got this comped, in other words, a company that makes these tarot decks send them to me. I didn't ask for them. So I want to give a shout out to them so they can get their publicity. And this one is called the Mystical Shaman Oracle. I'll show you the booklet. This is what the box looks like too. And these are the people that are associated with it. Colette Baron Reed, I have another one of her decks. And I can't think of it right offhand, so I'm going to just hold off on that. So here's the back of it, and here's the front. What's cool about these cards is they have no borders. So that's pretty rad. And then the last oracle deck is the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. Here's the back. Here is the front. I'm showing you the front and back so you know when I'm using them, which ones I'm using. So I'll put these over to the side. So it's just a matter of choosing which positions to use each cards. So bear with me. I've never done this reading before. I just picked it out of the blue a little while ago. So I'm not like an old pro at this. Something's calling for me to do the shaman one for the first position for you. So this is the bright core, the card of your present burning. What can fuel you and sustain you? So kind of like an enthusiasm. Okay, Aries, that's that. Okay, the next position is Radiance. How you can express yourself best, how you can communicate. Which one do I want to use? I think I'm going to use my tarot deck for that one. Okay. Three, subtle light, an odd position which shows some insight into a particular issue of your life that needs a new light. Should I go with... I think I'm going to do the Energy Oracle for that one. This is fun. Okay. Shine is number 4. how you can get out of your own way, something to go around, let go, or pass by. Okay, so this is a card of release. I'm going to use the regular tarot deck for that one. This is actually a pretty long spread, come to think of it. Okay, wait, did I put this in the right position? I gotta make sure. Actually, this is number 3, goes over here. Okay. Okay. The next position is Summer Party. A card which shows what you bring to everyone else around you when you are most true. Do it more. Okay. So I'll pick another card from Sandra Ann Taylor. Six. What to leave behind in the shadow. It's interesting because I thought that was kind of what the other card represented. Okay, so number 3 was actually about insight rather than actually like letting something go. So this one is really about letting something go. Okay, another 7, interestingly enough. Okay, the next one is easy living, what you can learn from your past to get on with things more easily in the future. Okay. Okay, so 8. The glory, what your higher self wants you to remember most today. Okay, so I'm going to do another Sandra Ann Taylor card for that one. And I gotta make sure I got the right. Okay, that's over here. And then the 9th one is going to be my Keeper's of the Light deck, and this position is what your higher self wants you to do more of in the future. Cool. Okay. So I'm not going to, like when I read the oracle cards, I'm not going to get bogged down in reading every last thing of it. It's going to be dealing with I'm just going to give you like a rundown. Okay, so the centerpiece is what is like sustaining you right now, and this is the vision quest. I will look from the book and give a basic outline of what this card represents. I already know what a vision quest is, but I want to see what they say about it. All right. Find clarity by spending time alone in nature. If you live in a city, go for walks in a park. If you live in the country, make sure that you spend more time outside in contemplation. Spirit has been trying to contact you but receive no answer. You are too busy with your life and there's too much noise inside your head. Do not miss the call again. Make room for quiet time this evening. Allow yourself to become bored for a little while and you'll be able to hear the important message trying to get through. And this is something that you should cultivate, and this is true anyway. I would normally say this of Aries people, because you are so busy, that being able to cultivate an inner life and becoming more contemplative will benefit you immensely. It may feel weird at first. It may seem unnatural for you. What you can do, because I know that some of you just have energy, in excess, is to walk. Do a walking meditation. And you can even, but try not to walk too fast. Don't power walk. But if you feel like you have to be in motion and you can't sit still, at the very least, do a contemplative walk. And what happens is when you're doing something where you're moving, but there's no goal of like, I'm going to try to do a personal best. I'm going to see how fast I can go. I'm going to try to burn off X amount of calories or get in so many steps. That is not what we're talking about. We're talking about a formlessness where it's not about competing against yourself, competing against somebody else, but just clearing your head and allowing movement to become the meditation. Okay. And the second position is Radiance, how you can express yourself best, how you can communicate. And so this is kind of like the messages that you can give to others. And the Five of Pentacles is about lack consciousness. There's probably not another sign as positive thinking as Aries. So whether this is something you do for a career or just to help others, you have the ability, Aries, to lift other people's spirits. So don't like count yourself out in that regard. I can't think of, maybe another fire sign like Sagittarius might compete with you on that level, but you are a very positive person. You're also a can-do type of person. And if you find yourself in some relationship, whether it's a personal relationship or at work, or maybe this is if you're going to school and you have a classmate that you associate with a lot, you can help them to become more receptive to their own ability to attract good into their life. But if you feel called to, that might even be a career choice for you, like being a life coach or something along those lines. Now, the third position is showing some insight into a particular issue of your life that needs a new light. So issues surrounding victory. And this energy oracle deck does have similar themes to a tarot deck. I don't think it has the same amount of cards, but the chariot is associated with victory. So let's see if it has some of the same themes. The achievement may be a great outer success, or it may be a deep inner change that you've been exerting a lot of effort toward. Enjoy this sense of accomplishment, but be careful not to rest upon your laurels. People expect outer triumph to bring great changes, but often there may still be inner work to do. Let yourself be open to victory on every level now. But if this is something that has been eluding you, then I would say that you need to change your definition of what makes somebody a success. I think sometimes Aries people are very hard on themselves, and they judge themselves and others too harshly in terms of being a success in a very showy kind of a way in society where it's obvious they're making a certain amount of money, they have a certain position. If you feel like you're at a place in your life, Aries, where you have not attained what you have wanted to in terms of your career or in some other area that's very important to you, maybe education-wise, then it's important to ask yourself if maybe there is a deeper reason for this that maybe there's a part of you that doesn't believe that certain things are as important as you've been conditioned to believe that they are. And so maybe you really are not that accepting of a certain path, and you've been resisting it primarily because you feel that there's something else is out there for you. And so maybe you're right now altering your sense of what makes you a successful human being. And maybe you realize now that there are more internal qualities that reflect this, not just, the typical things that we associate with in society. And so that might be like inner work that you're doing or that you are about to do. The fourth position is shine, how you can get out of your own way, something to go around or let go or pass by. So this is kind of like, let's look at this one. Well, this is a card of patience. And I was thinking, well, how you can get out of your own way. That's perfect, because I was thinking this was a card that shows a quality that you have, and patience is not typically associated with Aries people. So this is something you need to cultivate more of, Aries, if you want to be able to be successful in life. You may give up right when the harvest is about to come about. Pardon me, I have to actually plug in my computer. I kind of decided to record this on the spur of the moment, so I'm not quite prepared. And let me see. My computer went out, and therefore everything is dark. But my camera is still on, so you don't have to worry about that part of it. But yeah, so being able to appreciate the progress you've made if you're doing something, if you're working on your own project or your own business and you feel very frustrated because it's not a success right off the bat. Again, just like the card before, what constitutes a victory? Maybe you're just way too demanding that certain things be the way that you expect them to be, and that is due to impatience. And perhaps you have to have a more reasonable attitude about it. Okay, summer party. A card which shows what you bring to everyone else around you when you're most true. Do this more. So we have door to spirit. Let's see what that says. That's the energy oracle again. This is about truly unlimited potential, spiritual awakenings and new beginnings. And I think that this could be talking about your personal spiritual path, that it's deepening. And since you've had a recent transit of Uranus in your sign, and Uranus is going back in your sign at the end of the year, some Aries people may have noticed that their psychic faculties have really been heightened. And so that may be specifically to those, particular individuals who have experienced this. I would say in general, you are a catalyst to others, and you can help them, not only like the Five of Pentacles, to see things in a more positive light, but also to take action instead of just talking about their dreams. That you can, envision things for yourself. I think a lot of fire signs are visionaries, and you have the ability to help others to also visualize what their potential is and to take inspired action as a result. Okay, number 6 is Ancient Light, what to leave behind in shadow. So this was the card that was really about leaving something behind. The Seven of Cups is a card of indecision and also confusion. It can be a card of addiction. And this is a funny story. I was using the Rider-Waite deck when I first started doing this on YouTube a few years ago. I was using that deck for my public readings and my private readings. And I lost a card. When I first started, I used to do readings outdoors because I really felt like it was quieter than where I was living. And I left a card outside, and when I went back for it, I used to do readings under this one tree. I went back for it, and it was all destroyed by the rain. I still have that card, but it was the Seven of Cups. And I thought to myself, interesting that that's the card that was left out of the deck. And so I ended up getting a new deck, and I ended up getting, this particular deck, the Morgan Greer deck, is very faithful to the Rider-Waite deck, but it's just kind of really fun and colorful. And I use that primarily now. But recently I had bought a new Rider-Waite deck, and I went back to that deck and started doing more readings on that, using that deck, and had a lot of good readings, public readings with that. And now I have lost that card again, and it was the same exact card, the Seven of Cups. So here it comes up in your reading. And so any situation, and this may be in one area of your life where you have a lot of confusion. Maybe it's your love life. Perhaps your professional life is really going well right now, but your love life is in shambles, and you have a hard time making good choices in terms of partners that you choose. Again, with the Seven of Pentacles, it may be that you're too impatient and you get involved too impetuously or rashly in a relationship instead of really thinking if this person is a good fit for you. Any addictive tendencies, letting these go. At the time of solstice, there is a release, even if it's the summer solstice, and we think of the fact where, there's so much light. Well, the light is helping us to see the most that we have, our potential. But that still doesn't mean that there's not room for improvement. And certainly, if you're in the southern hemisphere, it's like it's not necessarily the dark night of the soul, but it's a chance to know that it only gets better from here. That's one of the things that kind of bugs me about the summer solstice, is like once you have the summer solstice, it's like you start losing daylight. Are you kidding me? It's like the summer seems like it just got started and it's like already losing light. So anyway, those are some kind of ideas that I have for that particular position. And 8 is the glory. What your soul wants, what your higher self wants you to remember most today. And we have the Temperance card. The Temperance card, following that card that could be about addiction. But the Temperance card is about balance. It's about easy does it, or at least I'm looking at it from that perspective of not being too intense or forceful about any area of your life, but maintaining balance. Even if you consider yourself a very ambitious person, how can you attain balance between your professional life and your personal life? Do you allow enough time to have a personal life? And one thing that I just want to note, the angel has 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on land. So it's kind of like the perfect medium between a spiritual life and a practical life. When somebody is very immersed in a life of the spirit, they oftentimes can forget to eat. They don't pay their bills, or they don't have a job, and they're kind of living in a very extreme sort of way. Maybe in some cases that's exactly where they need to be. But Buddha talked about the middle path, because he saw the extremes that people were going in. Some of the monks were being too restrictive of their physical needs, like eating and not eating enough, and then you had some people that are just too indulgent. And it's all about maintaining that balance. For some of you, this may be that you have overcome some kind of addiction. Temperance can be about living that type of balanced life. And so maybe what you need to remember most today is that you made it, that you survived it, survived the chaos of whatever that addiction was. And it could be an addiction to a person as well. Don't ever forget that. And then the last card is Spark, which is perfect for a fire sign. What your higher self wants you to do more of in the future. The Garden and the Gate. So that also sounds to me like a spiritual card. Let me see. I went right to it. Abundant prosperity, staying safe. This card shows a peaceful young woman in a beautifully blossoming garden with colorful flowers all around. However, the gate to the road outside the garden is locked, while the girl wears a key on a chain around her neck. This card upright bodes well for the financial scene. In fact, there may be a lot of money or other personal pleasures coming your way at this time. But be aware, the choice to stay in the seeming security of this lovely garden may actually be motivated by habit or a fear of the unknown. The beauty is enticing and worth enjoying, but you may not be giving your spirit the freedom to roam. While it's fine to amass a great deal of wealth, don't let it keep you from your karmic path or from shifting your truth. You have the choice to shift your focus, widen your spiritual perspective, and gain the world that is just outside your gate. So there's like some hints of like that spiritual path. I mean, starting with that first card, Vision Quest, for Aries. And I love to see that because I think Aries people are wonderful manifestors on the physical plane. And it's nice to see these spiritual influences show up in this solstice reading. So namaste, Aries, and I wish you a wonderfully blessed second half of 2018. Bye.